Barrell Craft Spirits is known for their bold, creative, and complex blends of bourbons and whiskeys, but their regular releases are usually bottled at cask strength, and they generally come in with a price point closer to $100, if not much higher. However, this is much different. This is their brand new release, their Barrell Foundation Double Barrel Bourbon, which has a proof point of 100, but it has a much better price point, which is affordable at $55. But is it worth it, or is this just another one of those finished bourbons? We're about to find out. Hi friends, my name is Brandon Spinner. You have stormed yourself into the Whiskey Weather YouTube channel. I am the Whiskey Weatherman, and I have one motto. It is always whiskey weather. Whether you're a bourbon newbie or you're a bourbon junkie, you found yourself in the right spot. So if you love talking about brand new whiskeys, or if you love learning more and more about bourbon, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as you're not going to want to miss out on any of my adventures here as we move on through 2025, as I try to take this channel to a new altitude. That's a weather pun. As for the forecast today, it is this Barrell Foundation's Double Barrel Bourbon. Right on the front, it gives you the age statement, 5 years. And before we jump into the forecast, I do want to give a big shout out to the folks over at Barrell Craft Spirits for sending this bottle my way for a sample. One thing I do love about Barrell Craft Spirits is how transparent they are. With their label, it tells you how old it is, but on the back, they changed the way they do it this past year. It gives you the blend components. It also gives you the derived mash bill. So it is a 5-year-old bourbon and a proof point of 100. However, this has blend components of an 8-year-old Kentucky bourbon, a 5, 6, and 9-year-old Indiana bourbon, Tennessee whiskey or bourbon at 8 years old, Maryland bourbon at 5 and 6-year-old. So a blend of 5 to 9-year-old whiskeys coming from 4 different states. And that derived mash bill that I told you about, 73% corn, 23% rye, and finishes off at 4% malted barley. Now, I did have a goal of 2025 to make these reviews much shorter to not waste your time. So if you do enjoy that, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button below, as I mentioned. And let's jump right into the review. So this is finished in a second New American Oak cask, I believe is what that said on the bottle. Secondary maturation in New American Oak casks enhances that notes of what you normally would get. So this should be similar to something like Woodford Double Oak, maybe that Old Forester 1910. So right away on the nose, I get those dark chocolates, like a s'mores-like. There's that oak, a little leather. It's not as fruit forward as I would have expected it to be, but there are some dark fruits there. It's a pleasant nose. I don't think it's the best nose in the world, but it's got a good aroma, and I'm gonna give it a score of 1.5. So if you are new to the channel, I rate and review all bourbons and whiskeys on the same rating scale, which is what I call the lightning counter. It is a 10-point rating scale using 5 different values: the nose, the flavor, the mouthfeel, the finish, and then ultimately the value. All those combined for 10 points, and at the end, they get a score, and that score will determine where it ranks amongst the best whiskeys and bourbons of the year. Right now, I've only done one, and that was the last review that Penelope weeded up there on the top right. You're gonna wanna check that video out at the end, so don't forget to click on that after the this review. However, yeah, it's opened up a little bit. Still a lot of dark chocolates. There's the leather there and the oak. Yes, 1.5. Let's see what the mouthfeel is. And the flavor. All right, mouth feels very warm, oily. One thing I'll say is the Barrell Craft Spirits crew always knock the mouthfeel out of the park. It always seems like it's got a creamy oiliness that's very viscous, and I'd say that that's the case here. That mouthfeel, very buttery. One of my favorite parts so far. I'm gonna go 1.7 on a mouthfeel. Now that is out of order again, but 1.5 and 1.7, we're at 3.2. That flavor is good. Dark chocolate, it does taste like a s'more, and I think they said it on the bottle. Yeah, toasted marshmallows, dark chocolate. I don't always agree with what Barrell Craft Spirits tasting notes are, but I think they did knock that out of the park here. with dark chocolate and those toasted marshmallows really coming through. I get s'mores campfire vibes from this. Which I generally get from the Woodford Double Oak as well. I don't think this is as sweet as the Woodford Double Oak. I do think that this has got a lot of flavor to it. Very enjoyable. And I'm gonna give it a score of 1.5 when it comes to the flavor. So 1.5, 1.5, 1.7. We're already sitting at a 4.7. I haven't even talked about the finish yet, which to me, I do get some of that graham cracker crust as well as a little bit of that leather and cinnamon, but it's not overpowering. There's not as much dark fruit on the palate as I was expecting it to be, especially with how I usually get out of the Barrell Craft Spirits products. But that is a very enjoyable, very soft. It comes in at 100 proof. I'm not gonna say it's smooth, but it's approachable. So if you are not a proof hound, but you do like something that's got a little bit more punch, this is very good. 100 proof, so right near that bottle and bond status because it's blended from 4 different states. Can't be bottle and bond because it wasn't also distilled by them, but it's right at that bottle and bond proof of 100. That is delicious. That is an easy, crushable sipper. Yeah, the finish on it, probably my least favorite of it all at 1.4, but still, that is very solid. So we're already up to 6.1. Haven't even touched on the value on this puppy yet, but yeah, the finish, that's the only thing that I wish I had a little bit more sweetness to, but overall, that's a pretty, if that's my only critique, we're doing pretty well here. So the value of $55. Would I buy this if I came across it on the shelf? For $55, if you can afford it, grab it, because this is probably just as good, if not better, than Woodford Double Oak. If you are looking for Blanton's, I know a lot of people will say the Woodford Double Oak is a good substitute. They're two different types of whiskey. One is finished in a secondary bottle, but if you are sick and tired of buying the Woodford Double Oak, this would be a good alternative. Same with the 1910 or any one of those double oak bourbons. This is not done in the same sense that the Pursuit United folks are doing. They're doing a double oak in a different sense. However, it's got that same concept. You're using a secondary piece of wood to age this. This just happens to be a barrel rather than some staves or some cubes that are sitting in the barrel with a little more surface area. But yeah, overall thoughts, I'm gonna go with a 1.7 on the value on this. So 1.7 on the value. I believe we're at a 7.8 when it comes to this bottle. That is very good, teetering great, especially for the price point. And a lot of these whiskeys have gotten astronomical when it comes to pricing. Very high, very limited. This should be much more affordable, much easier to find. So go and grab it. Total lightning counter score, checking in at 7.8. Currently, it is the top whiskey I have rated in 2025, but it is early. We're here in early February, and I did try January, so we are just getting started for a reuse here in 2025. Hope you were able to get a lot of value out of this, and as much value as this bottle. And if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. But the best way to support this channel is to actually share this video with some of your bourbon-loving friends to help spread the whiskey weather front here, because we are trying to make new waves. As I mentioned with the joke earlier, trying to take this channel to a new altitude, hoping for 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, if not more. I've got an amazing set of supporters already. We just went over 100 paying supporters on Patreon, as well as YouTube membership, which you can find in the links below. All of the Patreon members get first access to my barrel picks, as are my YouTube members as well. That link below as well. I've got 2 new barrel picks dropping within the next 6 weeks. One, which I'm excited to announce, from Pursuit United. It is a double oak bourbon. And another one, Buckner's 15-year pick, which I am doing this week. So don't forget to join the Patreon crew. You can even join for free to get better access than anybody else. That link is below, but we've got several tiers from the $3 tier all the way up to $25 tier right now. And we're going to be doing some changes to the Patreon and YouTube membership program starting in the month of March. So don't forget to be on the lookout for that. Again, thank you so much for watching this video, giving me the time of your day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video of this Barrell Foundation Double Barrel Bourbon, you're going to love my other reviews, which you can find up there on the top right of your screen. I end this the same way I do every other video. Thanks for watching. Please remember to drink responsibly, and don't forget, it is always whiskey weather. Cheers, y'all.